Hi, Allison. Great job on your Beethoven. I think you're doing so well for such a young age. So much power. That was the thing that impressed me the most is that you just have this really fiery excitement to your playing and you have a lot of power for a youngster. I'm just going to say real quick, I don't have any way to adjust the lighting right now. Sorry, this side of me is pretty bright and this side of me is pretty dark, but I hope that it'll still be easy to watch the video even with this kind of bright lighting. Um, so, I think that this piece is going to be great for competitions. And what I've tried to do on the videos is kind of focus in on maybe one or two things that we can focus on, one or two topics that we can work on throughout the whole movement. So, my two topics for you are that this piece, and it's funny because with a student just yesterday that I was preparing the video for, I was suggesting to the student to be more flexible at phrase endings and in between certain themes and not play metronomic. But I think that this piece and many of Beethoven's more intense pieces, they need to, it needs to be rather strict with the I'm not going to say play the whole thing metronomically, but within large sections, like within themes of 8 to 16 bars, be rather strict with your tempo. It's easy to kind of rush, surprisingly, for example, when there's a rest. I'll show you a couple of places. We have all these really important rests in this piece. This is a great example of a piece where the rests add to the drama, very much so. So if you come in a hair early or anything like that, I think for you it would tend to be more early than coming in late. It lends a slight bit of unsettling, like it feels like the tempo then is just a little bit unsettled if you're not absolutely strict with your tempo. That being said, between sections, like you have some extremely contrasting themes in this piece. And so, of course, at the end of like a section heading into a contrasting theme, I don't want you to feel like that has to be metronomic. You want to wrap up one idea and bring in the next. And I actually think you're quite good at that. I liked that. So for me, it was more within an idea of like 8 or 16 bars, making sure that you're extremely strict, especially during rests. Okay, so that's idea one. Idea two, as I mentioned, you play with great fire and great passion for a 12-year-old. It's so impressive. I can see why you've been named in many competitions and getting awards. I think that your playing is very compelling. So congratulations to you on that. What I would do, so my idea one is the strict tempo within an idea. Idea two is finding a little bit more of the soft side, the more quiet side when you're asked to play at a piano or mezzo piano. But it's a little bit, it's not like a light switch. Okay, now we're loud, now we're soft. It's more like encouraging you to try to capture not just a volume but a mood. Seeing if we can capture unique moods. And I think in particular there's one set of themes here where you really get a chance to do that. And so I'm excited to talk about that with you. So let me just scroll back up here. I've got my score on my laptop, so I'll be looking there periodically, and then I'll try to demonstrate a little bit to what we're going to talk about. So going back to the very beginning of the piece, I think the best way for you to try to make sure you are extremely strict with the metronome would be to slow things down just a little bit and find a metronome speed, your tempo is it's great. Your allegro molto e con brio, I wouldn't go any faster. Like, you are totally there, and I think you could be 1 or 2 clicks slower, and still, because of your fiery spirit, you would still be in good shape. Every once in a while, I'm like nervous, like, oh, is this just a hair too fast? So I would go back to the metronome, and I have students that I've worked with before where they're like disappointed when I say go back to the metronome. I go back to the metronome. Like, the metronome is absolutely one of your best tools as you prepare for performance. So don't take any insult to that. When I've been preparing, especially Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, and Bach even, after I'm feeling like really ready but unsure, like, oh, let me just double check, I can find places, in particular places where there might be rests or longer values and quicker values, like a mixture, where you want to make sure you hold those longer values the exact right amount relative to the quicker values. So when I say go back to the metronome, I'm telling you to do something I personally do all the time, my whole adult life. You're not doing anything wrong. Like, your rhythm is correct. You just rush occasionally. So I don't have a metronome with me because it's on my phone and I'm using my phone to record. But I'll tell you right now, like, we can kind of find a sample tempo, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, about like that. 1 da 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 dee da 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 ba ba dum ba da dee da 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 da. Da, da, dum, ba, da, 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 about like that. Sometimes when you play, it almost sounds like it's in compound time, like you're playing the measure in one, like 1, 1, dum, ba, da, 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 da. I don't think it has to be quite that fast because it's not marked presto or prestissimo. I think with just allegro with a lot of fire and life, make sure that you can feel those quarter notes. 1 da dee da 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 dum bum dun da dum bum ba dee da 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 dum bum. About like that is my preferred tempo on this. 1 2 3 1 2 3. About like that. So when you go back and play with the metronome, it'll be a great test to see where there are little places that you might be rushing. Let me find a spot for you in particular. I would say starting at 15, 16, da-da-da-da-da-dum, 2, 3, 1, da-da-da-da-da-dum, 2, 3, 1. And you might even want to actually say the counts of those rests. Because right now it feels like you're kind of winging it. Like, there's a rest and like, how it sounds, but it's not exact enough. I think for this piece, that like underlying quarter pulse, that's allegro, the allegro quarter pulse is like the glue that holds that intensity together. When you first play with the metronome again, because it might have been a few weeks or a little bit of time since you've done that, it might feel strange. It might even feel like too sterile of a sound. It's really just for you to find the places where you're noticeably rushing. And that way you can have it in your head and find some sort of way to be doing like the 2, 3, 1, da-da-da-da-dum, 2, 3, 1, da-da-da-da-dum. So saying out loud the rest where you might not be giving the full value. Okay, a couple of other ideas. At measure 8, when you have this, when you have the, that's like item 1, and then we get a little bit bigger grace note. Sorry. Okay, so that's item 2. And then item 3, you get the octaves there. I would like to hear a little bit more kind of like 1, 2, 3 there. So make sure the first phrase is quite soft. Give a little bit more on the one we called item 2. And then item 3, you did very well. Okay, and then we get to that rest section that we've already talked about. Okay, at measure 40, Yeah, at 35, when this comes in, when that comes in, you have an opportunity. This is what we were talking about the softs. You have an opportunity to like create a new mood. Like maybe this one is very gentle. And then when you come in higher, to me on the next one, I like maybe more timid there. Like find a word that's still going to be in that piano dynamic, but that's a different mood. So to me, gentle is a little like tender-hearted maybe, but then the higher one feels a little bit more timid, more hesitant. It can be whatever you want. You can play the first one more hesitant. I think because the first one has like a major harmony, it feels kind of loving and tender. And then the second one is a feeling a little bit more unsure. See if you can experiment with the soft ends of what you're playing. And then from measure 40 and beyond, where you did that crescendo, I thought that sounded really nice. Okay, moving on to 65, like right around when you have the first, when you have that first one, it feels rather intense to me, and we have that a couple of times. So maybe on that first one you can just be so delicate, just kind of nice and light, because there's so much sound that's going to be happening after that. At measure 93, here's an example of a place where you rush a little bit. When you get to the bottom, when you get here, 1, 2, 3. First of all, the right hand should be nice and strong because it has the sforzando, but you tend to come in too early. So you're coming down on the eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You tend to do, not that you're coming in on 2. It's not like it's incorrect. You're just rushing to 3. You get there a little bit more early. And to me, I want that low octave to really have a chance to bloom. So, and then you settle into that next theme. Okay. One idea about the opening ascending motif that came to mind, especially when I was hearing it in the development and beyond. So at measure, where are we, 105, like just beyond the repeat sign. I wondered with that ascending motif, when you play it right now, it just kind of feels like I'm hearing every note. I wondered if you can do like a micro crescendo to the top. Hold on, I better practice that a second. So I kind of hear the top notes, that one, the G, the C, and the final E flat. And I want to kind of crescendo as I go up to the top. I think that could add a little bit to the ascending motif, because right now you're playing all the notes, it's completely accurate, but they all sound really similar. They all sound very equal. Can you somehow kind of make da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-bum, like make some kind of drive and excitement to the top of those? It's not going to be piano to forte. It'll be like forte minus to forte plus, or mezzo forte plus to forte plus, something like that. Like within the range of strong, you can still have this sort of pull to the top. And then I think at 135, you get a really nice opportunity to explore that softer sound. When you play this, I felt like it was softish. I mean, like, it's very spare in the writing. It's just 2 quarter notes in each hand. What can you do there to make it more of a mood to capture? Like, to me, I feel like that place is wandering. Maybe you're lost. We don't know where we're going. Maybe it's misty or hazy or foggy. When you play that right hand, Hold on just a second. I'm trying to get in the window there. Sorry, I missed a note in there, but see if you can create just some sort of like lighter touch, a little bit different touch at the piano, and try to zero in on a mood. Okay, I wrote nice at 158. Let me see what that's. Yeah, your light chords here, those sounded great at 158, etc. And then I wrote down page 98. Let me give you a metronome number. Oh, at page, it's when this comes in again, when you've got this. Trying to find those moods. Like this one's gentle. This feels like an echo. I know it's not written in to make it pianissimo, but do something different with each of those 4-bar phrases and really turn it into a 4-bar. You want to do like the tiniest bit of a crescendo like this. Da-dee-dum, da-dee-da-da-dum. So go to the 3rd bar and then back off a little bit. And then try to make at least the first, like the lower register, change compared to the upper register in whatever mood you and your teacher decide would be a good way to think about it. At measure 270, it was that same thing where you have the arrival and then it feels a little early when we're getting here. Okay, so when you get here, 1, 2. Okay, so make sure you're not early on that right hand entrance and that you add the sforzando. If anything, be late there. I think because the low octave is such like an atomic bomb of sound, like it, even though it's an octave, it's just such an arrival point. It's better to almost like stretch your beats, like 1, 2, da 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 dee da 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 da. Let's see. 1 da 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 dee da 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 1 2 3 1 2 3, something like that. So on that measure, stretch out your beats. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1, something like that. Okay, and then I love your power. Like your powerful sound is awesome. So congratulations on that. I think you're going to have a wonderful time at your performances with this piece. Just try to tighten up the sections. In particular, section 1. I think your lyrical sections are fine, but on the faster, more intense sections, do not rush those rests because it's audible. And as soon as you stop rushing those rests, it's going to feel so tight and intense, and I think it'll be a great effect. And then try to find some new moods in your soft parts, okay? Good luck. Have fun.